I'm going to take you through a short tutorial to show you how to work the cluster stitch pattern that's found in the Corlyna cardigan, which is designed by Belinda Boaden and is part of the Scrumptious Baby Collection from Fyberspates. Row 1 of the pattern is simply worked as knit. On row 2, which is a wrong side row, you work across the row in sets of 6 stitches. First stitch is just a straightforward purl 1. And then for the next 5 stitches you purl, but you wrap the yarn around the needle twice. Oh, that one hasn't gone on. So once and twice and pull it through. Wrap around once, twice and pull through. And you do that in sets of 5, lots of double wraps. So that's 3, 4, 5. So if we have a look, we've got a purl 1 and then 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 stitches where we've wrapped it twice around the needle. Okay. Row 3 is a right side row, and in this row we're going to drop off the extra loops that we put on the needle in the last row, and then we're going to work into the groups of 5 loops together, creating another 5 stitches. So first of all, you just purl 1 for the beginning of the repeat. Take the yarn back to the back of the work, and you're now going to slip the stitches, 5 stitches in a row, from the left hand needle onto the right hand needle. And as you slip them, you're going to drop the extra wrap. So I've just picked up 1 strand of yarn and pulled off the second. 2, 3, 4. And the last one 5. So you can see that I now have 5 stitches on my right hand needle that are all longer, and I haven't twisted them as I've slipped them. I'm then going to pass them back to the left hand needle. Again, all 5 of them are being slipped back to the left hand needle without twisting them. And I'm now going to work into all 5 stitches together. Oops, sorry, thumb in the way. So first of all, we're going to knit into all 5 loops. So we take the needle down as if to knit them all together and up through all of them. And then we're going to wrap the yarn around the needle twice for the stitch and pull it through, but we haven't dropped the loops off the left hand needle. We now bring the yarn to the front of the work and put the needle into the 5 loops to purl, again wrapping the yarn around the needle twice and pulling it back through. It's worth shuffling it down your needle properly so that you've got the yarn wrapped around the full width of the needle and not just around the very tip where it's less thick. Now take the yarn to the back of the work again, noting that the 5 loops are still on the left hand needle, and you're knitting into all 5 loops again, wrapping the yarn twice around the needle. Bring the yarn to the front and purl again. Oh, that's not gone on. 1, 2, wrapping the yarn twice. Bring it down and then take the yarn to the back again and knit 1 last time, wrapping the yarn twice around it. And this time, now that you've worked into those group 5 times, you slip them off. If you have a look on the right hand needle, you've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 stitches in that cluster that were all worked into the 5 large loops at the same time. So that cluster 5 is now complete. So let's just work that repeat again. Purl 1, take the yarn to the back of the work, and then slip 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 stitches from the left needle to the right needle, pulling them down to make sure they're all nice and large loops. You've dropped all those extra wraps off. Then slip them back to the left hand needle, again without twisting them. And then you're going to knit into all 5 loops together, wrapping the yarn round twice. You then bring the yarn to the front, purl, wrapping the yarn round twice, take the yarn to the back. It gets a bit tricky once you've got a couple on the needle, so don't smooth along. Wrap twice, bring the yarn to the front, and purl, wrapping twice, shift them down, take the yarn to the back and knit into the stitch, wrapping it twice. And then you slip them off, and again you've got all 5 stitches worked into the loops together. Don't worry if it looks a little bit messy at this stage, it neatens up considerably once you've completed the cluster. You'll find as well, if you're finding this difficult, that the choice of needle that you use for this row is quite important. You want a needle that's very smooth so that the yarn slips along the needle easily. And you'll find that if you've got a nice tapered tip and quite a sharp point on your needle, that will help you to get into all 5 loops without splitting the stitches or getting in a tangle with things. If you're finding it hard, it's well worth trying another set of needles to see if you can find one that's more comfortable. In the final pattern row, which is row 4, again a wrong side row, you're going to purl 1 and then you'll knit 5 stitches, dropping the extra loops off the needle as you knit them. So purl 1, take the yarn to the back, and then as you knit, just pick up 1 strand of yarn, knit normally, and pull that extra loop off as well to make a long stitch. So knit 1, pull the extra loops off, knit, pulling the extra loop off. Quite hard to find the loop, the strand, there we go, 1, and pull the loop off, and again, pull the loop off. Okay, and when you've finished, you'll see that you've got, again, long stitches on the needle where you've dropped the extra loops off. The next repeat, purl 1, and then you're going to knit 1, pulling the extra loop off, 2, 3, 4, and 5. And then to complete the row, there's 1 final repeat, purl 1, and then knit 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. And you can see now that you've got long stitches on your needle, which is what you're expecting. I've now worked another right side row, just a knit row over the top of the clusters that we've just worked, and you can see how they look now that they've been completed. At this stage, if you just gently pull out the knitting a bit, you'll find that the stitches will even up and look much more tidy. And that's how you work the cluster stitch pattern that's found in the Corlyna cardigan by Belinda Boaden from Fyberspates pattern book, the Scrumptious Baby Collection.